Hey, I got a great idea early this morning.
I know. I heard you roaming around outside. The neighbors are going to call the cops.
And my neighbors call the cops. I'll run my neighbors in. Anyway, the idea might involve me going out to California next week.
Oh? You suppose that might involve my going out to California, too?
Does a wise prince take sand to the desert?
I don't know. If I meet a wise prince while you're gone, I'll ask him.
What's he doing now, Doctor?
Nothing. That's one of the more interesting aspects of his neurosis.
He doesn't mew or meow, if you prefer.
He doesn't scratch rough surfaces, and he doesn't make a mess to display his anger.
Well, then it's this lack of normal cat behavior that lets you know he's disturbed.
Exactly, exactly.
How are you treating him?
I'm waiting him out.
I'll buy that. Well, America, if your cat goes into a sudden deep depression, remember, there is a man who can fix him. And you saw him right here on the early morning show.
Next week, the network's showing 5 films. The 5 from the 50s retrospective. Well, I was looking at the cast list last night. There's one actress that was in 3 of those 5 films, Carolyn Parker.
Carolyn Parker, yeah, beauty. Whatever happened to Carolyn Parker?
That's just the point. Whatever did happen to her? Look, she was one of the bright new starlets of the 50s. So was Debbie Reynolds, so was Kim Novak. Whatever happened to Carolyn Parker?
And you want to go out and find her. Now, come on. She's probably happily married, got 6 kids, living someplace in the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, she probably is. That's just the point. I'm going to go find her. I'm going to bring her back to New York. And next week, 3 mornings, you can say, ladies and gentlemen, here on the early morning show, we present the girl you just saw on the Late Late Show.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Well, I'm sure you would have thought of it if I didn't.
You're right. She could talk about movies in the old days, contract players, nostalgia.
Yeah, I'm going to fly out the first thing Monday morning. Say, you want to stop in here a minute? Ed's checking the prints.
Look at her. You're the one that's got to find her.
Well, I suppose you save yourself a lot of trouble that way.
I do. I think twice before I get into something.
You're getting into something right now.
Very funny.
No, it's not very funny. It's a good thing you like my face. I'd have been in a lot of trouble without you.
I only told the police what I saw, and I don't want to be rushed. I promise I won't take advantage of it.
Well, I would if it were the other way around.
No, I'm not. I've only thought about it once.
You a fast thinker?
Not right now.
Well, when you made up your mind, stop by. But not before noon.
I didn't sleep last night.
Well, go ahead and get some sleep when we'll have dinner.
Hello, Carolyn Parker.
Yes, Mr. Martin, I have your pass for personnel. And Mr. Weiler wanted to say hello also.
Really? Thank you. She made only 7 movies, all of them for this studio. Her entire film career covered a span of only 41 months. That all started right here. None of the pictures she was in cost the studio more than $1 million. But I didn't know all those things about Carolyn when I started.
Second draft is closer. I want the second draft, and I want to start casting now. You got that? Hey, Bill! Bill Martin! Hey, Norman Wilder. Welcome to California.
Thank you. I must admit, I wasn't expecting the head of the studio.
Let me tell you, any man who can be the guiding genius behind a show that can wake 3 million people at 6 o'clock in the morning is always welcome here.
Well, all the real geniuses are working for me back in New York.
As you can see, Bill, we're moving to the Valley because the rent is cheaper. And in the Hollywood calendar, this is the year of the economist. But the entire place, all of it, it's at your disposal.
Well, thank you. I thought I'd start with personnel.
Personnel is right down there. At least it was when I drove by this morning. Well, I know you want to get started, Bill. Anything you need, let me know.
Thanks very much, Norman.
Good luck. Right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Be nice to him. He's a very important fellow.
Janet, I need the file on Carolyn Parker.
Sure. Was she talent, secretary, or what?
She was talent.
Okay, I'll get it for you in a second.
I'm sorry, Mr. Martin. They told me you were coming, but I've had people in here all week trying to figure out where to put the high-rise apartments.
So the Great Pacific General is going to be replaced by high-rise apartments, huh?
And if the traffic will bear the load, yet one more car wash. It's the end of an era.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of funny. Maybe they pruned the files years ago, or else it just got mixed up in the moving. But there's no file on Carolyn Parker.
The Screen Actors Guild didn't have much more. Fading publicity still. An address on Charmaine Way in the Hollywood Hills. They'd sent her last salary check there in 1954. Her agent had apparently left the business. But as it turned out, his name and address were still in the phone book.
Yeah? Mr. Prideaux?
Yeah?
My name is Bill Martin from the Early Morning Show in New York City. I wonder if you could help me locate a former client of yours, Carolyn Parker.
For God's sakes.
Hello?
I had an odd, almost excited feeling the first time I went to that house on Charmaine Way. It was late afternoon with the California sky still that brilliant blue that ends abruptly at nightfall. According to the Screen Actors Guild records, Carolyn lived in this house for at least 18 months, in 1953 and 54, which meant she probably leased it with an option to buy. How much had it changed from the time when it belonged to Carolyn? She must have given parties here. Maybe after her first picture. The guests would have crossed Sunset and come up into the Hollywood Hills. Then maybe she'd have hired a combo and a bartender. I wonder what Kirk Douglas would have ordered to drink. And what would Robert Mitchum have asked them to play? What must it have looked like to her? Just into her 20s with a brilliant career ahead? Did all those lights, in a way, seem to belong to her? What was it like, Carolyn? I really didn't know much about her yet. Where she was born, what kind of a childhood she had. But maybe I already had the feeling that that wasn't as important as the fact that she took Sunset over to the Macombo, or Ciro's. And that when she got out of her car, the man that held open the door for her at the Trocadero might have been Clark Gable. Then I decided to try to find out why her ex-agent had hung up on me. According to the publicity stills on Carolyn, Prideaux had his offices on Sunset Boulevard in a place called the Crossroads of the World. But that was in the 50s, and it seemed he'd come a long way in the wrong direction.
Mr. Prideaux?
Apparent cause of death, multiple stab wounds in the throat, upper chest.
More than 6 feet tall. He's very broad-shouldered, muscular-looking guy.
No other wounds or mutilations visible on the body. Victim fully clothed.
His hair was straight, gray.
Left wrist indicates a wristwatch is missing. Pants pockets turned inside out. No wallet, personal items visible on the body or around the bedroom.
He had this chisel features. That's it.
How you doing?
I'm all right, sir.
You'll have you taken to an emergency hospital if you like.
I'll settle for a couple of aspirins and a bourbon.
I gotta know why you're here, Mr. Martin.
Well, where will I start?
Give me a lot of close-ups on the body, will you? Some with a knife.
Well, so far we know that you're an executive with the early morning show, right?
Right.
That you travel a lot? Mm-hmm. That you're good at finding people for
Frank J. Allen.
Frank J. Allen to talk to.
I came out here looking for an actress by the name of Carolyn Parker. So far, I found out that the studio where she used to work no longer has a file on her. And a house that she lived in the 50s looks like it's been vacant ever since.
I'll see you outside, Sergeant.
Right.
Earlier today, I called Tom Prideaux on the phone, and when I mentioned Carolyn Parker's name, he hung up on me.
So you decided to come out and see him yourself tonight?
Yeah, I get a lot of good ideas like that.
When you spoke to Prideaux, did he say he had information to give or to sell to you?
No, he just broke the connection.
Well, you could see the kind of neighborhood Prideaux lives in. We get robbery homicides here by drug addicts, a variety of perverts, and we have them all. The victim walks in while the robbery's in progress, gets killed. How long do you intend to stay in L.A.?
Hey, listen, hon, I'm afraid I'm not going to make it back as soon as I thought.
Well, why? Is there anything wrong?
Well, no, there's nothing wrong. It's just that, well, I'm having trouble finding